69% approving of how he handled Afghanistan, gun violence, and the border. But there's a huge partisan split when it comes to immigration. More than 80% of Democrats say migrants should be allowed to stay while they await a hearing. More than 70% of Republicans want them deported.
That's ABC's Andy Field in Washington, where there is still no deal on raising the debt ceiling and avoiding a government shutdown. A temporary measure could pass later today, as progressives in the House say they won't vote for the bipartisan infrastructure bill unless it is tied to that much larger budget of social programs. ABC's Trish Turner is at the Capitol.
Progressives have really, I think for the first time, really stood their ground in a way that makes a massive difference to the legislative agenda. So this is all about sequencing. So I think the votes are there to pass these bills, but the progressives have been very clear. Their priority is this massive social and climate bill, and they're not going to give ground, because if they do and they vote for the bipartisan infrastructure bill, I mean, what if that's all they're left with?
Pfizer submitting its data to the FDA for a children's version of its COVID vaccine.
One federal official telling ABC News those shots could begin rolling out before Thanksgiving, a few weeks later than they hoped. Pediatric healthcare workers anxious for the additional protection for kids. Since the beginning of the month, hospitalizations for COVID have dropped by more than 20%. The COVID-19 forecasting hub predicts U.S. hospitalizations will continue to fall into October.
ABC's Alex Prochet. In Los Angeles, there's a court hearing today on Britney Spears and to consider whether her conservatorship run by her father that has ruled his life for the past 13 years should be dissolved. This is ABC News.
For eligible individuals 18 or older only. Not available in Oregon or West Virginia. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
How are your hearing aids sounding now?
A little tinny.
Okay, 2 seconds.
With hearing aids from Lively, everything is done remotely in the comfort of your home, from initial testing to adjustments.
How are they sounding now?
Fantastic. So much better. With Lively, you get premium Bluetooth-enabled hearing aids at thousands less than you might expect. The best hearing aid technology is now affordable and convenient. Your hearing aids are sent right to your door. And if you have any issues, we'll make adjustments 7 days a week. No charge.
Ah, you people at Lively are wonderful.
With Lively hearing aids, you get free shipping, 3 years of follow-up care included free, plus a 3-year warranty with loss and damage coverage. You can't lose.
I hear better than I ever thought possible.
Now get $100 off your hearing aids when you go to listenlively.com/radio. That's listenlively.com/radio. listenlively.com/radio.
Nearly 24 more species now officially listed as extinct. U.S. government officials declaring 22 animal species, including the ivory-billed woodpecker, and one plain species gone. And they warn climate change could speed up extinctions even further. Abortion fights in a pair of states, Ohio and Arizona. ABC's Mark Remillard with the latest.
In Ohio Tuesday, demonstrations at the state capitol as lawmakers are set to consider a bill that would dismantle abortion rights in the state should the Supreme Court move to overturn Roe v. Wade. Sierra Dobbs Brown helped organize the protest.
We're going to fight this bill tooth and nail because that's what Ohioans deserve.
In Arizona, meanwhile, a federal judge declared parts of a new abortion law unconstitutionally vague. It would have allowed criminal charges against doctors who knowingly terminate pregnancies solely because of genetic abnormalities, such as Down syndrome. Mark Remillard, ABC News.
Retail sales of new cars expected to fall about 25% when September's numbers come in. That from consultants J.D. Power and LMC Automotive. They blame supply chain issues, which have slashed inventories on new cars. And continued questions in Denmark about the art of a blank canvas. A museum there gave an artist more than $80,000 to reproduce 2 of his older works. Instead, the artist delivered 2 blank canvases, saying it's new art that he titled, quote, "Take the money and run." He says it's part of his new message as an artist. This is ABC News.
Pro football season's here, and pro roofers save valuable time with Beacon Pro Plus. Beacon Pro Plus works 24/7 for material ordering, order history, and automated promotion tracking, so you can get your favorite GAF roofing products even when working remotely. And now, order on Beacon Pro Plus and get a $175 gift card and a chance for a VIP pro football getaway. Gear up and raise your game with Beacon Pro Plus today. Build, score, and win at BECN.com.
Sherry Preston, ABC News.
The reasons more and more people are coming to NC Tractor to do business are the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want the risk.
We're
We're tracking a weak cold front that's on the move. We're going to see highs range in the upper 70s, the lower 80s, and upper 80s to the south. Because of that front making its way through, areas to the north will be slightly cooler today. We will likely see mostly dry conditions with this system as it is moisture starved. Overnight temperatures will fall into the mid-50s and lower 60s. Tomorrow, highs will be in the upper 70s and mid-80s, a very small chance of rain to the southeast. I'm meteorologist Peter Shearwood in the Weather Center.
We will be closing out September with pretty nice weather on Thursday, September 30th. Mostly sunny, highs around 85, mostly clear at night with lows around 58. We'll start October with nice weather. Partly cloudy with highs around 81. Then Saturday, mostly sunny with highs around 84. Now the threat of rain comes back to us in our forecast. Looks like it's maybe Sunday night, only a 20% chance of some isolated showers. And then Tuesday night, about a 40% chance of isolated showers. Otherwise, we can still continue to enjoy outdoor weather for the next few days. Good morning, everybody. Right now we have 60 degrees on our thermometer. 6 minutes after 7, and I have these death announcements. Spencer Wayne Davis, 71, of Bostic, died Saturday, September 25th at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. Arrangements are incomplete and will be announced by Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Service for Spencer Wayne Davis. James Cleveland Wright died September 26th at Cleveland Pines Nursing Home. He was formerly from Forest City. Those arrangements are incomplete and will be announced later by Pruitt Funeral Home. Again, that's James Cleveland Wright. Sandra K. Yancey, age 64, of Ellenboro, passed away Tuesday at her home. Funeral services will be 3 p.m. Thursday, September 30th at Crow's Funeral Chapel. The family will receive friends from 2 until 3 prior to the service. Burial will follow at Sandy Level Baptist Church Cemetery. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Sandra K. Yancey. Carol Randolph-Jones, 67, of Bostic, died Wednesday, September 22nd at Adrium Health, Shelby. A visitation will be held from 5 until 8 o'clock Thursday, September 30th at Washburn and Dorsey Funeral Home. Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Service, serving the family of Carol Randolph-Jones. Arsemus Joe Wilson, age 75, of Big Island Road, Rutherfordton, died Friday at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. A celebration of life will be held Friday, October the 1st at Crow's Funeral Home from 3 until 5. Military honors will be provided by Rutherford County Veterans Honor Guard. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Arsemus Joe Wilson. Jasmine Marie Dixon, 33, passed away at Rutherford Regional Medical Center Wednesday, September 22nd. A celebration of Jasmine's life will be held by the family and friends at a later date. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Jasmine Dixon. Elizabeth Libby Ann Gossett Burgess passed away September 27th at her home in Asheville at age 62. A small private graveside service for the family will be held at Riverside Baptist Church Cemetery, and Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with those arrangements for Elizabeth Libby Ann Gossett Burgess. Jimmy Rhodes, age 60, of Henrietta, passed away Saturday, September 25th at Atrium Health, Cleveland and Shelby. A private celebration of life for the family will be held at a later date, and Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with those arrangements for Jimmy Rhodes of Henrietta. Linda Marie Grabowski, age 66, of Spindale, died Thursday. A memorial service will be held at 2 o'clock on Saturday, October the 9th, at Mount Vernon Baptist Church. Family will receive friends from 1 until 2 prior to the service in the sanctuary of the church. The Paget and King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of the arrangements for Linda Marie Grabowski. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. For the complete information on these and others, as they become available to us, can be heard this morning at 11:35 and then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report. Most information for the Foothills is heard right here on 100.9 FM, 590 AM WCAB. And we thank you so very much for being a part of our audience. Thank you for making WCAB your radio station of choice.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up from the NRIA.net studios in New York. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. Thousands of abandoned animals in the USA need your help. Delta Rescue, founded by actor Leo Grillo, the largest no-kill care-for-life animal sanctuary in the world. Their trained staff take animals in, provide them with food, water, treats, and affection. And your donation may be eligible to help lower your taxes. So please visit deltarescue.org/bill now. On this Wednesday, I tried to watch some cable news last night, but it was very tough. No information flow, all fairly predictable opinion. I'm a bit surprised that Fox is so anti-vax. Why? The only thing that will diminish the COVID threat is the vaccine. The two left-wing operations seem to love the vax and the masks and the mandates. Again, why? Forcing people to do anything erodes freedom, no question about it. So taking choice away from Americans is a good thing now? Apparently so, if you subscribe to the propaganda on CNN, NBC, and the network news in general. As for me, your humble correspondent, I try to promote what I think is best for the country, and that is volunteering to be vaccinated. Government force is a huge negative for the nation. Also, I'm tired of seeing President Biden wearing the dopey mask when we all know he takes it off whenever he's out of camera range. So does Kamala. COVID will subside as an epidemic before Christmas, as 75% of us will be vaccinated by then. But COVID will always be around, so let's use common sense. Now this. Investors, Bill O'Reilly here. Are you sitting on capital or wanting to diversify? The NRIA Real Estate Development Fund provides returns right now. They capitalize on strategic markets. They offer payouts of 10% annualized returns plus bonuses up to 21%. Start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy. 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
Your Atlanta Braves are trying to close out their fourth straight division title, but the battle for the East is always a close one.
1-1 on the way. He connects, and it's a high fly ball to deep right field, way back towards the seats, and this ball is gone!
Tonight, don't miss a minute of National League East baseball from Truist Park in Atlanta as Freddie and the Braves face off with the Philadelphia Phillies. Braves Radio goes on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
And last night, the Braves and Phillies game, the Braves won 2-1. 2-1 Braves.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
WCAB, the music's on us.
In the mid-1800s, Anglos from other parts of the United States were coming to Texas in groves and taking over land previously owned by Mexicans. Juan Cartina saw his family's land holdings begin to shrink, so Juan put together a gang of disgruntled Mexicans and started taking back some of the land. In mid-September of 1859, one of Juan's men was arrested in Brownsville, Texas. Juan and his men shot the marshal and freed the gang member. This, of course, infuriated the citizens of Brownsville. They talked about getting revenge, but it seems that talk was all they were wont to do. Juan Cartina, on the other hand, wanted action, and getting tired of waiting for the posse to come after him, on September 27, he led 1,000 cutthroats into Brownsville, captured Fort Brown, and took over the town. After killing anyone who had previously caused him grief, Juan demanded $100,000 in gold or he would burn down the town. News of the Brownsville situation got out, and a contingency of men came to the rescue. Unfortunately for them, what Cartina was doing also reached his friends, and his gang had grown to a much larger size. After defeating the relief column, Cortina went to Edinburgh, Texas, and then took on Rio Grande. After these victories, Cortina returned to Mexico, where for 15 years he made raids across the border into the United States. Finally, in 1875, the Texas Rangers decided to put an end to Juan Cortina's shenanigans and went down to Mexico and gave him what for. From then on, Juan stayed south of the border. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Put Jesse James Railroad Express on your lunch calendar. He has a menu chocked full of fresh cooked burgers, fresh salads, hot dogs made any way you like, taco salads, specialty burgers, sandwiches, french fries, or onion rings. Enjoy refreshing milkshakes, Coke floats, or a cone of hand-dipped ice cream. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 4, closed Wednesday and Sunday. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue, Rutherford. Call 828-447-4644. Mondays only. Hot dogs with mustard, chili, and onions for only $1.24 each. All aboard the Jesse James Railroad Express.
Now it's 7:16 on this Wednesday morning report. Let's check out what's been happening with the Sheriff's Department, and Deputy Lee is on the phone with me right now to give us that update. Good morning. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing great, thanks. Tell us what's been going on.
We've had 180 calls for service, 10 arrests, and we have 211 in the jail right now. Going to instant reports, Todd Kaiser of Boston reported financial card theft. Camilla Traham reported larceny. On to arrest. We've got Rebecca Leverett of Mooresboro was charged with felony possession of Schedule 2, possession of drug paraphernalia, and failure to appear on a felony. Her bond was $17,500. And then we have Dustin Lauder of Marion. He was charged with failure to appear on a misdemeanor. His bond was $500. Marshall Nanny of Spindale was charged for failure to appear on a misdemeanor, and his bond was $500. And that's all I have for you this morning.
Thank you very much, Deputy Lee. I appreciate that. Now, you be safe today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And bye-bye. And we'll get to 911 Communications Center next.
Cheryl, I've been talking to Tommy and David, the outside salesmen at Henson Building Materials in Forest City. They're going to help us navigate through our remodeling project.
Well, I know they have tons of experience, so we'll be in good hands.
Good hands is right. Even professional builders shop there because they trust the quality products and service.
And did you know they have a great relationship with our community, too? Oh, they're so nice.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
Another season has come and gone, and you're still looking at that same sad-looking sofa or recliner. Well, now's the time to change the inside of your home to look as pretty as the spring and summer colors outside. And the perfect place to start is the Recliner Center. Right now at the Recliner Center, everything is 20% off. That's 20% off sofas, recliners, sofa recliners. If someone you love is having trouble standing, the Recliner Center has all lift chairs on sale for 10% off. All lift chairs, 10% off. Now, some of these chairs can take you from a standing position, then safely back down to a sitting position with no effort on your part whatsoever. Angela is cleaning out merchandise to make room for more. So now's your chance to redecorate your home and take advantage of the great savings at the Recliner Center. All lift chairs, 10% off. Everything else is 20% off. Angela is seeing folks by appointment only, so call 828-395-3562. Call her today. The Recliner Center. They're on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherford.
Now we have Amanda on the phone from 911 Communications Center with our morning update. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning.
What's on the report?
Well, in the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications Center has processed 436 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 39 for the emergency medical services, 9 for rescue, 180 calls for the Sheriff's Office, 119 for Forest City, 11 for Lake Lure, 56 for Rutherford, and 78 for Spindale. And Spindale Fire Department had an industrial fire alarm, and that is all.
Thanks so much. You have a great day.
You too.
Bye. Imagine being surrounded by comfort At Immaculate Heating and Air Conditioning, they offer ultimate home comfort by Coleman. They will install a Coleman high-efficiency heating and cooling system and handle any service and maintenance, all for one low monthly payment with zero out-of-pocket costs for 10 years. That's right, 10 years with no service or repair fees, no maintenance fees, no unexpected cost at all. Ultimate home comfort. It's more comfort all around. Contact Nathan Blackburn at 828-755-5788. That's 755-5788, or visit ImmaculateHeatingandAir.com. Now here is Ruby Taylor. She's reporting from Danieltown, SDO, Shiloh, Danieltown, Oakland community, with our report today. Ruby, good morning.
Good morning.
What's on your report today?
Well, the fire department didn't have any calls. And on my birthday counter, I've got Joyce Roop and Madison Summy having birthdays. Hope they have a nice day. And the signs are in the breast today. I'm going to the Heart tomorrow. Jim, that's all I got.
Thanks, Ruby. Enjoy your day.
You too, and
Bye.
bye-bye.
I want to give a big shout-out this morning to all the folks in the nursing profession. Those folks are on the front line of taking care of the sick. Many of them are under a lot of stress and pressure because they're shorthanded all over the place. And some are under pressure to do things they just soon not have to do. But those nurses and physician assistants that go up against these daily tasks and challenges, I give you a big salute and thank you for your willingness to be there. You've helped save a lot of lives, and we thank you for that, your profession. I've always had a lot of respect and admiration for nurses. And now during this time of COVID, you're having to do some things that's tough on you, but thank you for hanging in there. And this will be over soon. Gary Wilson is up next. He's up in the Fairfield Mountains community, the fire district up there, where it's always nice and pleasant. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, Jim. You don't like the weather, come back tomorrow. It might be better, huh?
Well, that's a nice place to be.
It's pretty weather. It's been pretty week all week long. Still a little bit on the cool side this morning, about 56 degrees. Got up to about 81 yesterday. Going to be about mid-80s today, so it's warming up some, but still can't beat it. Good weather. Humidity way down. Everything's been peaceful up here the last 24 hours with everybody else in Bells Creek, so glad to see that and hope it'll stay that way for a while, and should be looking forward to a good color season. Hopefully get our tourists back in here for the fall. Next thing you know, we'll be wrapping Christmas presents. You know?
Well, I tell you, some folks are already beginning to do their shopping and probably have all their shopping done. Of course, there's always those things that go around and say, well, you better do your shopping early. That may run out of stuff by Christmas. I don't know if that's true or not, but a lot of folks are going ahead and doing their shopping down because they're afraid come Christmas time there won't be anything on the shelves.
I put mine off as long as I can.
Yeah, me too, Gary.
I'm a last-minute shopper most of the time. But that's about all we got up going up here, Jim, this morning. Everything going on pretty good.
Appreciate you, Gary. Thanks. You have a great day.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Bye.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford-Ton.
Here's to Burn Upton now with the report from Bostic, North Carolina, US of A. Good morning.
Good morning, Jim. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. Hope you're doing well.
I'm doing well. We've got a very nice morning over here in Bostic this morning, cool and calm, 58 degrees. We have no fire calls, no medical calls. And I would like to tell the people about our bee supply store located here in Bostic on 131 Depot Street. It's owned by Nikki and Christina Lovelace. They have beekeeping supplies, beauty and wellness products, and much more. It's the first stop for all your beekeeping supplies. That's all I got.
All right. That's all the news over there, huh?
That's all the news.
All right. I appreciate you. You have a great day, and I'll see you next time.
Same to you.
Bye. Get the clubs out, dust them off, and join the Fall Classic Golf Tournament sponsored by the Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber always puts on a good tournament, and Friday, October the 15th, you can be a part of another one. It will be at the beautiful Cleghorn Golf Club. Registration starts at 11. Shotguns start at 12 noon. Boxed lunches will be provided. It is captain's choice, and the Chamber is restricted to the first 36 teams signing up and paying. Make your checks payable to RC Chamber of Commerce, $300 per team. Phone 828-287-3090 to sign up. This could be your time to win the tournament. Call today, 828-287-3090. All right, 25 after 7. We're talking to Bob Hodge now over in the Hudlow Fire District. Good morning, Bob.
Well, good hump day morning.
Bob, did you ever play any golf?
Not much. I can't hit that little ball.
I can hit it, but it doesn't want to go where I want it to go.
It goes, it's hard to hit it in that little hole the way I try to in it there.
It is, indeed. Do you have a good anniversary? You and your Armazine have a good anniversary?
Yeah, we had a good anniversary, but we didn't get out over yesterday. We had some beans to pick, so she went out and we picked some green beans, and she canned 14 quarts of green beans yesterday.
Wow,
so,
that's fantastic. That's a good anniversary.
Yeah. But we'll we'll go out in a day or so there.
Good.
We'll celebrate. But yeah, she had them beans she wanted to get picked, so we fixed them, and can't never tell. They might taste good this winter.
Well, you'll think about that anniversary this winter when you're eating those beans.
That's right. But, Jim, things are going along good up here this morning with the fire department. We've answered one medical call, and so far everything's been quiet, and maybe it'll stay that way. And if you're going to do anything in September, you better do it, because ain't about another day left, so it's going to be October here.
Better check those car inspections. They run out sometimes at the end of the month, so check those inspections for your automobiles. Make sure you don't run afoul of the law.
That's right. Yeah, you can't get your tag unless you get inspected there.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, you got to get all that done. Well, Jim, that's about it up here, and you take care, and hope you have a good day over there.
Thanks, Bob. I appreciate it. You have a great day, and I'll see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. Now it's 28 minutes after 7 o'clock. We have 60 degrees on our thermometer. The Braves had a good night last night over the Phillies. They beat them 2-1, and they'll be playing them again this evening. And that first pitch is 7:15. We'll join the pregame following News 13 at 6. Now let's head over toward Bostic to the Cherry Mountain section of Rutherford County. That's a beautiful highway traveling up from Bostic up to Sunshine. And we'll find Cherry Mountain Fire District over there. And Sue Price is on the phone right now to give us an update. Sue, how you doing this morning?
Good morning, Jim. I'm doing good. Hope you are.
Yes, indeed.
Well, good. Looks like we're going to have another beautiful day.
I think so.
After all those rainy, dreary days we had, we've enjoyed these pretty days.
Yeah, we're due for some nice weather like this, aren't we?
I know. But let's see, I didn't have any calls from the fire department, so I reckon they've been quiet. And I have one birthday on my personal calendar for Earlene Settle. So I hope Earlene's going to have a good day today. And Fairview has a birthday for Harriet Yelton and Barbara Wilkie. And First Broad has a birthday for Levi Bumgarner. So several people celebrating over this way, and we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day and enjoy it. And don't have anything going on that I know of, Jim. It's just quiet and calm over this way, looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one.
Thanks very much, Sue. Enjoy your day, too, and we will see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Next phone call coming up after this.
Does your financial advisor take the time to really listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situation change? Hi, I'm Andrew Tisdale, your local Edward Jones financial advisor. When we work together, we focus what's important to you. We create a personalized strategy backed by our advice, our tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And we partner together to help your strategy stay on track no matter what happens. Contact me at any time at 828-287-9197. We'll sit down, talk, and we're going to make a strategy that's right for you.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
And one of our news stops each morning is Shingle Hollow Fire District, and Tina White's always Johnny on the spot to catch us up to date on what's been happening up there. She's there right now. Good morning, Tina.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good, and it's beautiful up here this morning already, and what a beautiful day it was yesterday.
Wasn't that nice?
Yes. I think today we'll have a repeat, don't you think so?
I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. Well, it is 57 degrees on the front porch this morning. Sun's already coming up over Glenda's house, and it looks pretty and peachy colored this morning. Fire departments, both of them were quiet, Green Hill and Shingle Hollow. They're quiet for the past 24 hours. No birthdays on any church calendars. On my personal calendar, I have Miss Erlene Suttle and Jennifer Parker, Susan Paget, and Melissa Summy, and I hope all four of these ladies have a great big birthday. I think the world of all four of them. Hope they celebrate big, and if you know them, tell them happy birthday today. Announcement, Saturday, October 9th, 2 p.m. until 8. White House Community Clubhouse is having a family fun day, free to everyone. You can bring your whole family, young and old. They'll have bouncy houses, cornhole, face painting, volleyball, sack races, free popcorn and cotton candy for the kids, a bluegrass band, and then at 4 p.m. they'll have barbecue plates, $6. And they're possibly going to have hay rides, so come on and join in on the fun. And October 16th, Green Hill Baptist Church is having a community yard sale from 8 a.m. to 12. If you're interested in having a table, contact Rosemary at 289-4885. She says that all proceeds from the table charges will go to the youth. So the youth is sponsoring this. And Mountain Creek Baptist Church is having a barbecue on Saturday, October 16th from 4 to 8 p.m., $10 for adults, $5 for children 6 and under. There will also be hot dogs and chips for kids. So we've got all kind of things planned for October.
Things are alive and well up that way.
Mm-hmm. Hope everybody stays safe and enjoys each other.
Well, you enjoy your day, too, and be careful up there, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks, Tina. Tina White reporting out of Shingle Hollow this morning. Next phone call to Green Hill. Up to Union Mills coming up next.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Braves on again this evening against the Phillies. And the regular baseball season is wrapping up this week. I don't know how much more beyond Saturday they'll be playing, or Sunday. Sunday is the last regular season game against the Mets, and we'll see what happens after that. But right now, they're doing okay. They won last night over the Phillies 2-1. Again today, first pitch tonight, 7:15. We'll have that pregame following News 13 at 6. Now it's time to go up to Union Mills, and Brenda Kelly is standing welcoming us to the morning time of reporting. Brenda, good morning.
Good morning. How are you on this wonderful Wednesday morning?
I'm happy.
That's good. If you're happy and you know it, say amen.
Amen.
There you go. Oh, mate. But we hope everybody's having a good day. I've got 54 degrees on the front porch, and then I don't have any birthdays or anniversaries. And then ways of announcements, Randy Flack will be at the Union Mills Learning Center. This will be on Friday, October the 1st. And the music begins at 7 p.m. They have a meal available beginning at 6 p.m., and the cost of the meal is $5. And so far, that's all I know of going on. So, just short, sweet, and quiet up here, and that's how we like it.
You know, it's been kind of quiet all over the county for the past 24 hours. 911 didn't have a whole lot of calls, and sheriff's report wasn't very long, and so I like it. It's been kind of quiet. It's nice to have those days.
And we need for it to stay like that.
We need a lot more of them, yeah.
That's exactly right. People get back to work, there wouldn't be so much mischief.
You preach on, woman. Preach on.
I always had to work.
That's right.
I still work and do odd jobs, cleaning houses and stuff, and I said something the other day to somebody that in about 2.5 years, if I live, I'll be 80 years old. And they said, "Oh, no, you're not." I said, "Oh, yes, I am."
Well, hard work agreed with you, didn't it?
It must have, because I've done a lot of it in my lifetime.
Yep. It helps. It sure does.
Yeah.
Well, when we're busy, one thing, when we're busy, too, and working, we don't have time to think about all our ailments and our aches and pains. We're busy getting the job done, but if we don't have anything to do, we're talking about how much we hurt, bones, joints aching, and we dwell on those kind of things. It makes it worse.
That's it, yeah. But we just hope everybody has a good day and enjoy it and be careful. And I guess you better go check on Luther Sweet things, see how things are in Ellenburg.
You have a wonderful day.
Catch you later.
See you. Bye. The Kelly Report from Union Mills is 7:37.
Hey, folks, you know, Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply is an amazing store. I can say that because they have what you need. From pet supplies to fire and ant killer to horse-quality Timothy alfalfa hay, $14 per bale. Attention carp fishermen, they have C&J flavoring, only $8 per bottle. And they have oats for sale. Refill your propane tanks at the lowest price. Fully stocked with all your deer supplies and a great selection of farm implements. Need mulch? $12 per scoop. We could call it a superstore. Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply, 188 Whiteside Road in Rutherfordton.
Well, let's see if we can get some information out of Luther Gilligan this morning. He's a man on the scene over there in Ellenboro. Let's see what he has to say to us. Luther, good morning.
Good morning, you two. Just sitting here watching the sun come up, getting ready for a start of a good day.
All right. I like your optimism.
We're going to have a good time out here today. We'll play in the water. But it's quiet morning. There's not a whole lot going on down here this morning. Everybody's just getting their gas and heading on out to work, get this middle of the day done, and starting moving towards the weekend. See, the fire department had one call early yesterday morning. Then you had one call last night to go down to Cleveland County. But about the time they got took off, they called back and canceled them, so they just turn around and come back to the station. And they said they like those kind of calls, didn't have much to do. But other than that, nothing going on down here, so you have a great day up there, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Keep up the faith, and I'll see you next time.
All right, take care now.
All right, bye. And that leaves us time for birthdays for this 29th day of September. 29th of September, birthdays and anniversaries can be called in to us now. Todd's standing by out there to take that call, and we'll give you a big shout-out. 287-3356 is that phone number, 287-3356. Birthdays and anniversaries coming up in just a moment. You know, nothing strikes fear in the hearts of people more than receiving an IRS audit letter in the mail. Audits take much time away from your business and family, requiring you to gather mounds of records, and can become overwhelming unless you have someone you can depend on to take care of that for you. That's why we can recommend IE Accounting and Tax Service. Chris and his team of professionals are in the business to help. Even if you depended on someone else to prepare your taxes, IE Accounting and Tax Service will be glad to assist you or your company. Don't hesitate to call. As a small business owner, you have more important things to do than keep your own books. Why not let IE Accounting and Tax Service take care of that for you, so you can get back to the job of running your business? Consider their payroll solutions for your business, cash flow management, litigation support, and forensic investigation. Why not give them a call and see what they can do for your business? Here's that phone number, 828-395-1777. They're at 211 West Main Street, Spindale. Again, that's 395-1777, and it's spelled A-R-Y-E-E. They're just good, honest, nice people there at IE Accounting and Tax Service. I think you'd do yourself a real good thing to turn to them for your needs. Many of you have already responded also to your visit to Anchor Down, the store there in Forest City, where they have many, many items drastically cut. New arrivals each Wednesday, each week, I believe it is. And they are looking forward to helping you smile and find something you're liking at great prices. The furniture, jewelry, dishes, clothes, shoes, and all brand name clothes are 50 cents. All shoes are $1. All furniture is half off. They're at 155 West Main Street, Forest City, and it is amazing. The store is loaded and packed with many items that you'd like to have in your home, or clothes you'd like to be wearing, or shoes that look good on your feet. Why don't you check them out? They're closed on Saturdays and Sundays, so check them out Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. Anchor Down. Anchor Down is the name of the store, 155 West Main Street in Forest City. Going down toward Smith's Drug, they'll be on your right once you pass the Rutherford Weekly building, and there's a telephone company, I believe, in there too. Right across from Carolina Chiropractic, and go see them. Just look around today. After 10 o'clock, you can get in and browse till 5. Anchor Down, 155 West Main Street, Forest City. Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control, and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171, and they'll be right there.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
If tonight is pizza night at your house, be sure you try to get one of those Granny B's pizza combos from Granny B's. Choose from 13 different combinations. You'll enjoy the pizzas from Granny B's. You'll order time and time again because you find a place that's dependable, find a place that's delectable. They cook it the way you like it. You can get the combination that you like. Here's the phone number, 286-9012, 286-9012. You may never go back to the others once you've had a Granny B's combo pizza. And those delicious Daylight Donuts are available right now. They open at 6:30 now for your convenience to get the Daylight Donuts to take to work with you. Right there on Main Street, right next to the Shake Shop. All right, hit it, guys. Happy birthday. Nobody's celebrating a birthday so far this morning. No one's called one in to us or anniversaries. So we hope that those of you who are celebrating and not too happy about it, we hope you'll cheer up and have a great birthday anyway. Charlene Lee, 79 over in Ellenboro, is celebrating, so congratulations, Charlene. Happy birthday. Kim Cook up in Cane Creek, 79 this morning. Wish Kim a happy birthday.
InfoSearch tells how that in the spring of 1894, the Baltimore Orioles came to Boston to play a routine baseball game. However, what followed that day was anything but routine. John McGraw of the Orioles got into a fight with the Boston third baseman. Almost instantly, players from both dugouts were on the field joining in. The melee quickly spread to the grandstands, and before long, things were totally out of control. Someone set fire to the stands, and the entire ballpark burned to the ground. But it didn't stop there. The fire spread to 107 other Boston buildings as well. All this damage because of a conflict on the athletic field. A woman once apologized for her frequent flare-ups by telling Billy Sunday, "Yes, I have a bad temper, but it's always over in a minute." So is a shotgun blast, countered the evangelist, but look at the damage that it can do in just a split second. Someone has said, it's difficult to take back words. A raised gun, a fist, and a voice are all alike. They are easier to lift up than to put down. A man who just shot his best friend was asked why he did it. The investigator asked, "You fought about politics, but why did you kill him?" The broken-hearted friend responded, "We began peacefully and we argued. I killed him when I ran out of words." The Bible tells us that everyone should be quick to listen and slow to speak and slow to become angry. It further states that the man who controls his temper is better than the man who is able to conquer a city. This is Bill Hostler with today's key to confident living.
Your Atlanta Braves are trying to close out their fourth straight division title, but the
today, and there will be no audio or video of the hearing.
Top Pentagon leaders will be before the House Armed Services Committee today following Senate testimony on Tuesday, at which they said they fought to keep American troops in Afghanistan past the pullout date, a small number of them anyway. Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman General Mark Milley says he was against setting a date in the first place.
Outcomes in a war like this, an outcome that is a strategic failure, the enemy is in charge in Kabul. There's no way else to describe that. That outcome is the cumulative effect of 20 years, not 20 days.
Continued battles on Capitol Hill over raising the debt ceiling and whether a bipartisan infrastructure bill should be tied with a larger budget of social programs. You're listening to ABC News.
Oil drilling investments involve a high degree of risk and are only suitable for SEC-accredited investors. Attention high net worth investors. Oil and gas investments have always been an ideal tax advantage and have been a way to invest and take a 100% write-off. The new administration is threatening to take this away. Take advantage now before it's too late. Invest in domestic oil drilling for a full tax credit this year. When you invest in oil, you get a 100% tax write-off. The pent-up demand from the pandemic has created the perfect storm for oil prices to soar. Support domestic U.S. oil and natural gas drilling and make your patriotic investment to get a complete 100% tax deduction write-off. If you are liquid for a $100,000 investment, call Encore Energy at 800-287-6691. That's 800-287-6691. 800-287-6691. That's 800-287-6691.
Stock market futures pointing to a higher open on Wall Street after a sharp sell-off. The S&P lost 2%, its worst day since May. The Nasdaq shed close to 3%, the worst day there since March. Lava from the volcano in the Spanish island of La Palma erupting for several days now. It has now reached the ocean. That is setting off plumes of steam and possibly releasing toxic gases. People nearby being told to stay inside and to close their windows. In Texas, an accused serial killer has been arrested.
What kind of a tenant was Jason Thornburg?
I have talked to him many times, and he never fought with me about anything.
Conti Gandhi runs the motel where Thornburg was living and where, according to Fort Worth Police Chief Neil Noakes, he murdered and dismembered 3 people, placed the remains in a trash dumpster, and set it on fire.
This was shocking. It's unsettling.
Noakes says the 41-year-old Thornburg has confessed to the 3 murders, along with 2 others, including one in Arizona, telling detectives that he had been, quote, called to commit sacrifices. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Dozens of miners trapped when a piece of equipment crashed into their elevator shaft. They've all made it to safety.
It's a long climb. It's pretty steep. It's pretty wet. It was a good climb.
Now, they had to climb out of the mine into Ontario using a series of ladders to go up 4,000 feet, around 3 times the height of the Empire State Building. The climb taking several hours. This is ABC News.
Vaccines are not enough. If you think vaccines alone will protect you from COVID-19, think again. Monitor regularly for fever, as it's the leading sign of COVID-19. Use Exergen, the only thermometer scientifically proven to detect fever. Protect yourself and your family with Exergen Temporal Scanner. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Exergen is changing the way the world takes temperature.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
High temperatures today will range in the upper 70s to the upper 80s to the south. We do have this cold front that's going to move through. It's going to be moisture starved, so there's not going to be a lot of rain with it. And we are going to see slightly cooler temperatures as we head into tomorrow. So morning temperatures on Thursday will be in the mid 50s and lower 60s. Tomorrow, the highs will range in the upper 70s and mid 80s. Very small chance of rain possible to the southeast. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and we are 60 degrees currently, climbing all the way up the thermometer scale to 86 for a daytime high. We got more beautiful days coming here as we close out September, look our way into October, and we got a lot of things happening in October. WCAB has a live remote broadcast coming up in a couple of weeks. We want to invite you to that. We'll tell you more about that later. But we also have high school football Friday night, and our game this Friday night is Chase at Hendersonville. Game of the week, Chase at Hendersonville. RS is at Polk, and TJ is at East Gaston. Braves baseball wrap up the regular season Sunday against the Mets, and Tar Heel football is underway. And Tar Heel basketball will be starting pretty soon, and we've got it all for you right here on 100.9 FM, 590 AM, and that'd be WCAB. We got some good news and some news that's maybe not too good, but it's worth knowing about. And we'll get to that news from here and there right after this. Hey, let me ask you a question. Do you feel sluggish and sort of wore out and just tired, aches and pains? Well, listen, this could be a cure to some of that. Get back in the swing of things with a special deal from Lifestyle Wellness and Spa. For a limited time, join for $5 and get 1 month free. Get that energy back, flexibility of your joints, and a better outlook on life. For $5, join today and get 1 month free. First-class equipment and plenty of space for you to choose your style of fitness. The pool and hot tub alone are worth the price. Contact the professional, friendly staff at Lifestyle Wellness and Spa and get going for a Feel Better You. For a limited time, join for $5 and get a month free. 247 Oak Street, Extension, Forest City, and you'll be saying, oh, I feel so much better. And they got these great sauna over there in the hot steam room, and then the other sauna room there. And they tell us, medicine tells us that hot steam like that is good to kill off viruses, and so it might be the answer to what you're doing. So go by and ask about signing up for $5 right now and get the first month free. That's one of my favorite places, Lifestyle Wellness and Spa, there at Rockwood Plaza. Some news from here and there this morning. Congratulations to Forest City. They've been chosen as one of the best places to retire in North Carolina, according to Scott Carpenter's report in the Courier. Forest City is one of the best places in North Carolina for retirement. That's according to a study recently released by Smart Asset. Forest City ranks number 8, first is Hendersonville, followed by Hickory, Marion, Brevard, Roxborough, Pinehurst, Williamston, and then next is Forest City, followed by Reedsville at number 9 and Black Mountain at number 10. So we're right in there in top 10 places to live in Forest City. Smart Assets analysis took into account multiple factors, including tax burden, access to medical care, opportunities for recreation, and opportunities for social activities. Town officials are pleased with the ranking and say studies like this one give the town added publicity and help spread the word about the good things that make Forest City attractive. Forest City Mayor Steve Holland said, I was thrilled to learn about the ranking from Smart Asset. It's a real compliment to the town. Holland recalls several years ago when romantic Asheville proclaimed Forest City one of the best places to view Christmas lights. The town saw a major boost in visitors during the holiday season. Holland says Forest City is appealing because of the thriving downtown. Downtown is a great place to shop, to eat, to be entertained. The Thermal Belt Rail Trail comes through town. They have pops with all the events held there. For retirees or anyone in Forest City, Holland said, people have something to do if they want something to do. New buildings going up, new renovation of buildings going up. A thriving downtown is especially attractive, as national trends indicate more people are wanting to move into downtowns or live close by so they can walk to the downtown. And I like to see downtowns growing like that one is growing, and that's why we encourage everybody. I can always encourage you to shop local and shop our downtown. We have several beautiful little towns here in Rutherford County and some homegrown businesses, family-owned and family-proud businesses. So that's why we encourage you to shop at home as often as you can. And Forest City is one good example. Holland also said more people are rediscovering the appeal of downtowns, and not just Forest City. We have more people choosing to live in downtown and hope that trend continues. You'll notice that downtown there's some of the businesses that have been renovated or built. There are apartments now above those, and people are living upstairs above the businesses, above the stores. So that's a good thing. Austin Bailey is reporting from the Courier that the Colfax Free Fair Car Show had 40 entries this past Saturday, the largest number of entries in several years. There were 5 categories with a first and second place award given to each winner. Each entry also received a dash plaque. The winner of the 1945 and earlier category went to Trey Ledbetter, who brought a 1917 Rio truck. The second place award went to John Bivens for a 1934 Dodge pickup. In the 1946 through 61 category, Steve Hill took home top honors with the 1957 Chevy, while Bill Blair in his 1955 Ford Thunderbird claimed second place. Wayne DeVinny's 1967 Chevy Chevelle was awarded first place in the 1962 to 1977 category. In second place was Mark Humphreys' 1972 Corvette. In the 1978 to 1993 category, Dane Moorhead was awarded first place for his 1978 Corvette. Chris Whiteside in his 1987 Cadillac was awarded second place. In the special interest category, Jimmy Morrison claimed first place with his 2005 Ford Mustang. Kyle Hutchins and his 2006 Dodge Viper claimed second place. In the hit and miss engine category, members of the Dobson family were awarded first place and second place. In the final contest of the evening, Chris Whiteside's 1987 Cadillac was awarded the People's Choice Award. All that happened at the Colfax Free Fair last week, and thanks to Austin Bailey for covering that and writing such a great article about it. Meanwhile, our neighboring city and neighboring state down in South Carolina, Gaffney, a Gaffney man was killed Monday evening in a mowing accident. Cherokee County Coroner Dennis Fowler said Daniel Lee Shaw, 88, was killed when the mower he was riding overturned. Fowler said Shaw was riding a zero-turn mower on his property when it ran off the turf and overturned down an embankment into a creek. The mower came to rest on top of Shaw, trapping him under the water. He was discovered by family members at 8:50 p.m., who began searching for him after failing to show up at his nearby residence. Shaw was last seen about 5 o'clock. Fowler said an autopsy will be performed as part of the investigation into that tragic accident. Well, some other news from here and there. The World Net Daily is reporting that nearly half of voters oppose vaccines for young children. You know, they moved it now from seniors down to middle-aged, to teenagers. Now they're bringing it down to children, and nearly half of the voters oppose that idea. Nearly half of likely voters are not confident that the COVID-19 vaccines are necessary and appropriate for children ages 5 to 12. Only 42.2% say they are confident that young children should get the shots, according to a poll conducted by the Trafalgar Group in partnership with the nonprofit Convention of States Action. The survey conducted September the 17th to 19th found 66.8% of Republicans and 54.7% of independents are not competent in COVID-19 vaccines for children 5 to 12. A majority of Democrats, 62.5%, say they are confident in COVID-19 vaccines for kids. Big differences of opinion there. All depends on your thoughts and references to that. Be good to do a lot of research on that before you make a final decision. In poll after poll, we see that the American people are fundamentally skeptical about so-called science coming out of Washington, D.C. They see the conflicting information and almost daily shifts in policy and don't want their children to be the guinea pigs for a group of bureaucrats who have mismanaged and bungled this crisis from the start, said Mark Meckler, president of Convention of States Action. School-based mandates are not going to fly with the public. A separate poll published this week found that only 45% of Americans say they trust President Biden to give them correct information on the coronavirus, and only 49% of Americans say they trust the federal government to provide accurate COVID-19 information, down from 54% 2 weeks ago. Cliff Young, president of Ipsos Public Affairs, told Axios, Delta and other issues have really undermined the public's perception. The Convention of States Action describes itself as a grassroots network of more than 5 million supporters and volunteers aiming to restore a culture of self-governance in America and to curtail federal overreach. So they are losing some confidence in that aspect. It's 50 minutes after 8 o'clock. We'll have that sheriff's report with Deputy Lee coming up here in just a few moments.
Rutherford County loves tractors, and you don't want to miss the Tractor Show fundraiser at South Mountain Christian Camp on Saturday, October 16th. This event will feature a variety of tractors and farm equipment on display, as well as some antique cars and trucks. There will be free activities for the kids and a variety of vendors. Admission is free, but bring your cash donations to vote for your favorite pieces of equipment. All funds support the ministry of South Mountain Christian Camp. Don't miss this event on Saturday, October 16th at South Mountain Christian Camp. Visit southmountainchristiancamp.org for more information or call 245-3322. That's southmountainchristiancamp.org or call 245-3322.
Don't miss the excitement of the Tractor Show on Saturday, October the 16th from 10 until 3.
At Smith Drugs of Forest City, we are continuing to offer the COVID-19 rapid testing and the COVID-19 vaccinations. Please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591 with any questions or concerns that you may have. You may also visit our website at smithsdrugsfc.com and schedule your COVID rapid 19 test or your vaccination. Again, if you have any questions, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
Thank you very much, Chuck. 16 minutes after 8 o'clock. Hey, listen, if you want to get ahead of the game and buy your Chamber of Commerce reverse raffle ticket early, I've got them here. So if you want to make your choice right now is the time to do that. The raffle will be held the drawing will be held in December, and we'll do the drawing right here live on my morning show. But its tickets are available right now, so get yours now. Come by, call me, and let me know how many you want, and we got them available for you right here at WCAB. Chamber of Commerce reverse raffle is always a big popular thing, and a lot of folks love to participate in that. A lot of folks have won some money over the years, and it could be your year to do that. Why don't you make your choice and buy your ticket early? 17 past 8 o'clock, bureaucrats are telling unvaxxed Navy SEALs that they're undeployable. Navy SEALs going through all the extensive training they've been doing, and after jumping from, where we are to a great life of protection for our country, they're trained and taught to be victorious in their missions on behalf of the nation. No excuses, no accommodations, no surrender, never. That's the motto of the Navy SEALs, goals which they've mostly met without fanfare. But then they've never before battled bureaucrats who now are claiming the service members who will be undeployable if they do not take the experimental COVID-19 vaccinations. Here are the men and women trained like nobody else is being trained, Navy SEALs. Now the bureaucrats are telling them if they don't take the vaccine, they're undeployable. They won't be able to go out and do what they're trained to do. The Epoch Times reports R. Davis Yantz, a lawyer representing SEALs, confirmed the threat is facing those service members even if they have an exemption to the shot demands. Yantz told the Times, quote, what they've been told is that if they apply for a religious accommodation, they will no longer be deployable. And Timothy Parlator, whose firm represents a number of SEALs and other service members concerned about the vaccines, said his clients have also been given a similar ultimatum. Parlator said some military service members already have been pulled from deployments for refusing the vaccines. The report said a document signed by Captain Liam Hullen states special operations personnel who declined the vaccine based on personal or religious beliefs are disqualified from duty. Folks, excuse my down-home English, but that just ain't right. That just ain't right. That just ain't right. Navy SEALs are one of the most prestigious, along with the other branches of service, the Green Berets and all those folks, go beyond the call of duty to train to protect us in America and do things like going in and killing Osama bin Laden. They're trained to do things that regular service people are not trained to do. Yet we have bureaucrats sitting in Washington who many of them have never had that kind of training at all and don't know what's going on in the military. They're telling them they're not able to be deployed because they haven't been vaccinated. Now that's where people come down on the side of we're against the mandates, because they don't take anything into consideration. It's you do it my way or you don't do it. It's my way or the highway kind of thing. And that's not right for American people. We're not built that way. 20 minutes after the hour, and I'll be back in just a moment with the Sheriff's Report.
This is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates. We know that due to COVID, many people don't want to come in the office. If you need to discuss your insurance needs or just make a payment, you can come through the drive-thru, telephone us, or drop in. We want to see you, but it doesn't have to be across from a desk. Insurance Service Associates, now located at 245 East Main Street in Forest City.
They have a beautiful office over there in Forest City, and we've been invited to come and help them celebrate the grand opening, and we'll be there next month, do a live broadcast. I'll give you all the particulars about the day and what they're going to be doing. Who knows what. There'll be a lot of things to give away, and we want you to be a part of that. I'll let you know later on about that, but it'll be a live grand opening at ISA in their new location in Forest City. 21 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock, Sheriff's Report coming up here in just a few moments. But let me remind you, folks, you're my friends. I want you to know about this before anybody else. It's time again for the popular Cozy Warehouse Sale set for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of this week. Get your home ready for the coming months ahead with incredible prices on towel sheets, sheet sets, holiday pillows, blankets, throws, bed pillows, and much more. Weather's beginning to turn a little bit toward fall and winter. You may need some new blankets and throws, bed pillows, and much, much more. Cozy Warehouse Sale has never been disappointing for people. They've always enjoyed shopping there, and now you can enjoy Cozy's crazy low prices again. They're now back at 181 Duke Street in Forest City, next to Henson Building Material. That's the Cozy Warehouse Sale, September 30th, October 1st, and October the 2nd. Don't want you to miss it. I'll be disappointed if you miss out on this, and you will be too. Go and write it down, and you put it in your phone if you do those kind of things in your phone. Write it in your memo pad. September the 30th, October the 1st, and 2nd, the Cozy Warehouse Sale, so you won't miss it. I've heard people say, oh, I forgot about that. I was meant to go. Well, don't forget it. Let me remind you again. I'll remind you again. Tomorrow, I'll remind you again, but please don't forget it. Big opportunity to get the kind of thing. If kids are away in school, you need to send them some blankets and pillows and those kind of things. Now's the time to get it while this Cozy Warehouse Sale is underway, because it is a good one. All right, Deputy Lee was with us earlier this morning, gave us a report from the Sheriff's Department. We recorded it for broadcast at this time.
We've had 180 calls for service, 10 arrests, and we have 211 in the jail right now. Going to instant reports, Todd Kaiser of Boston reported financial card theft. Camilla Traham reported larceny. On to arrest, we've got Rebecca Leverett of Mooresboro was charged with felony possession of Schedule 2, possession of drug paraphernalia, and failure to appear on a felony. Her bond was $17,500. And then we have Dustin Lauder of Marion. He was charged with failure to appear on a misdemeanor. His bond was $500. Marshall Nanny of Spindale was charged for failure to appear on a misdemeanor, and his bond was $500. And that's all I have for you this morning.
And if you missed this morning report this morning, you can hear it again this afternoon. On the afternoon caller report, we replay the Sheriff's Report. Todd Kaiser minding his own business, staying out of trouble, and gets on the report after all. Listen to that report again this evening. 24 past the hour of 8 o'clock. And we've got an update on sports coming up in the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program at 8:30.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. We start with Major League Baseball and a 17-game win streak, which has allowed the St. Louis Cardinals to wrap up the second National League wild card with 5 days to spare. The Redbirds collecting a 6-2 win over the Brewers. Staying in the National League, the Giants kept their 2-game lead over the Dodgers in the NL West by defeating the Diamondbacks 6-4. Los Angeles, they doubled up on the Padres 2-1. In the AL, the Yankees moved 2 games ahead of Boston for the first American League wild card with a 7-2 verdict over the Blue Jays. Giancarlo Stanton hit a 3-run shot, while Aaron Judge also went yard and got 2 RBIs in New York's 7th consecutive win. The Red Sox dropped their 4th straight, falling 4-2 to the Orioles, and the Mariners gained ground on Boston with a 4-2 win against the Athletics. The Carolina Hurricanes opened the preseason schedule last night with a 3-1 win against the Tampa Bay Lightning at PNC Arena. Jesperi Kotkaniemi made his first appearance in a Carolina uniform and scored the first goal of the night. Power play goal in the first period. He added an assist as Tuovo Teravainen also registered a goal and a helper on the man advantage. Special teams last night was the difference. Carolina was 2 for 3 on the power play and 3 for 3 on the penalty kill. A huge flip of the script after the Lightning power play during the Stanley Cup playoff run was lethal. Canes head coach Rod Brindamore after last night's game was wishy-washy because it is, after all, just an exhibition.
It's a preseason game. Kind of happy it's over. Hopefully nobody got hurt. There's a lot of good things within that game that you could see, and then there's a lot of not good things. That's exactly what you want, because those are great teaching things. It makes it easy as a coach to kind of go in and work on that stuff. And the game was actually, the first period was really fast. Like it was actually, I was shocked at how, I was like, whoa, this is a real game as far as the pace. And so that's good.
Same two teams will go at it again tomorrow night in Tampa. This is NCN Sports.
Fighting cancer is tough on the best day, but imagine a cancer diagnosis without access to affordable health insurance. If you are uninsured, you have a 60% greater chance of dying from that cancer than if you were insured. Care for Carolina is committed to providing more insurance options and health care access. Covering the uninsured means better health for all of us.
Go to care4carolina.com to find out more. That's care4carolina.com. Care for Carolina, expanding access, enhancing prosperity.
North Carolina retailers are the backbone of the local economy, and now you hold the power to help them rebound faster by spending your dollars in North Carolina. Our retailers' first priority is the health and safety of their employees and customers. So please be patient with retail employees, especially if they ask you to wear a mask. In most cases, they are required by law. The NC Retail Merchants Association proudly represents these dedicated retailers and encourages you to shop smart and shop NC. Learn more at ncrma.org.
The NBA has released tentative health and safety protocols to its teams, which details that unvaccinated players will be tested far more often than their unvaccinated colleagues and face a slew of other restrictions. The Panthers have placed starting safety Justin Burris on IR with a groin injury. He was injured during Carolina's win last Thursday over Houston, and he's the second Panthers defensive back to go on IR this week. He joins cornerback J.C. Horn. Carolina went out on Monday and acquired cornerback C.J. Henderson in a trade with the Jaguars to help bolster the Panthers' #1 ranked defense. Boxing legend Manny Pacquiao is officially hanging up the gloves. The 8th Division world champ announced his retirement Wednesday from the ring. The 42-year-old is currently a Philippine senator, and he has accepted a bid to run for that country's presidency. Josh and Zach, NCN Sports.
High temperatures today will range in the upper 70s to the upper 80s to the south. We do have this cold front that's going to move through. It's going to be moisture-starved, so there's not going to be a lot of rain with it. And we are going to see slightly cooler temperatures as we head into tomorrow. So morning temperatures on Thursday will be in the mid-50s and lower 60s. Tomorrow, the highs will range in the upper 70s and mid-80s. Very small chance of rain possible to the southeast. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Our expected high today, 86 in sunny skies. Right now we're up to 62 and should be climbing that high by noontime today and dropping back tonight to about 59 for an overnight low. It's 8:30. This is WCAB Rutherfordton, serving the foothills of the Carolinas from 100.9 FM, 590 AM, where this evening another Braves baseball game with the Phillies, 7-15 first pitch. Right now, it's time for the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program, and with the program this morning is Mark Doyle.
Good morning. This is Mark Doyle with Word of Faith. I'm so glad you could be with us this morning. Been a little while since I got to do the radio program, so pretty excited about doing that this morning. Some scriptures really strong in my heart I want to share with you. We'll just start right away, and that's in Ephesians chapter 2. And I actually got to share this in the church service the other night. And it's just still, every night it seems like, or every other night I seem to be reading this verse and just meditating on it and thinking about it. So in Ephesians chapter 2, in verse 2, it says, in which at one time you walked habitually, that means all the time, you were following the course and fashion of this world. We're under the sway of the tendency of this present age. The sway of the tendency of this present age, following the prince of the power of the air. You were obedient to and under the control of the demon spirit that still constantly works in the sons of disobedience. And it says who these sons of disobedience are: the careless, the rebellious, and the unbelieving, who go against the purposes of God. And this is definitely how I live a good part of my life, and this is how a good part of the world lives their life. It's definitely a part of our culture to be careless, to be rebellious, and to be an unbeliever, and go against the purposes of God. And among these, we as well as you once lived and conducted ourselves in the passions of our flesh, our behavior governed by our corrupt and sensual nature, obeying the impulses of the flesh and the thoughts of the mind, our cravings dictated by our senses and our dark imaginings. We were then by nature, this is the nature of man, children of God's wrath. There is such a thing as God's wrath against these things, and heirs of his indignation like the rest of mankind. And I don't want that to be me, and you do not want that to be you, that is your inheritance, is God's judgment and God's wrath. But the thing that stood out to me the most these days is it talks about the sway of this current age. The sway. What is the sway of this current age? You know, a lot of people say it's the last days. And a lot of people say that there's no such thing as the last days. And the scriptures are very clear about the last days. It talks about it in Daniel. In Daniel, it says, I will make you, in chapter 8, it's verse 19, I will make you know what will be in the latter time, the time of the end. So God is letting Daniel, a prophet of old, know things that are going to happen in the last days. And in chapter 10, he tells Daniel, I have come to make you understand what is to befall your people in the latter days. And then in 1 Timothy chapter 4, it says, the Holy Spirit distinctly and expressly declares that in the latter times some will turn away from the faith. They will give attention to seducing spirits and doctrines that demons teach. So we know that there's going to be certain things that happen in the last days. The Bible's very clear that there is such a thing as called the last days, and he warns us. God warns us throughout all the scriptures, you know, so that we can be ready if that's our generation. And everything that I'm seeing is that it is. It seems so clear that the sway of this current age, you know, in Hebrews it talks about that we're not to forsake the gathering of the brethren, especially as we see the day approaching. What day is it talking about? What day? Back to that verse in Hebrews, it says, do not forsake, especially as you the gathering of the brethren, especially as you see the day approaching. We do not want that to be what we do when that day approaches. We want to recognize that hour that we live in, and what is the sway, the tendency of our age. I mean, to me, it's really clear. A lot less people going to church. And with the shutdown that took place all last year, and people staying home, and mandates not allowing people to go out and do, people got comfortable and came under the sway of this current age to forsake that gathering of the brethren. You know, that time together is very important for believers. For believers, people that believe in Jesus, that believe he is the Son of God, that he is the Savior of the world, and that this is so important to recognize. And there's so many people that I know that, you know, I sell real estate, and it used to be you never get too many appointments on Sunday, but now that's when everybody wants to look at property. And I tell them, I said, I'm not available, you know, on that day between this time and this time because I'm in church service. And I'm not ashamed of the gospel, and I'm not ashamed to tell them that because I'm a believer. I believe that this is part of what God's called me to do. And this is the time that's been set aside for me to come together with other believers and be encouraged, be built up, be admonished. That's the purpose of our coming together. But that's just one example of the sway of our current age. And so we once walked in that, But we don't want to walk in that now, that way of the world. And so the Bible talks a lot about this sway and these influences. In Galatians chapter 5, it says, you are running the race nobly. Who has interfered and hindered and stopped you from heeding and following the truth? It says in verse 8, this evil persuasion is not from him who called you, who invited you to freedom in Christ. I mean, that's what's happened. We've been invited by God to be a part of the family of God, to be a call to freedom. And I mean, the freedom that I see is Jesus called me to the freedom of hearing his voice and obeying him. There is freedom in that. Rather than being ruled and controlled by the dictates of my flesh and my carnal nature, my dark imaginings. There's slavery in that, in obeying the sway of this current age. But there's freedom in God to hear his voice and obey him. And I don't want to be under this evil persuasion. I don't want to be under this sway. And we need to recognize that that is at everybody on this planet, in this earth, and in this generation, and in this time in the earth. It says, a little leaven, a slight inclination to error, or a few false teachers leavens the whole lump. It perverts the whole conception of faith. It misleads the whole church. So we see that these sways and under the power of a demon, a spirit, this evil persuasion is something that's at us in our time, in our age. And I keep thinking about that verse in 1 Corinthians. It says that there are many kinds of voices in the world, and none of them without significance. There's a lot of voices. There's a lot of voices at you and me through all kinds of influences. What's in us, what's around us, the media, the social media, the co-workers, everywhere. There's opinions and voices everywhere. I mean, if anything, social media has set on course in our time, in our age, in our generation, is everybody has free course to express their opinion strongly about everything. And that goes back to the verse that I finished up the last time I was on the radio program, and it was in 1 Corinthians, and it says, yet for us there is only one God. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 6. Yet for us there is only one God, the Father, who is the source of all things and for whom we have life, and one Lord, Jesus Christ, through and by whom are all things, and through and by whom we ourselves exist. So for me, that means Jesus knows everything about everything. And God has something to say about everything. And that's where we need to set our hearts, is what does God say about our current situation? Personally, or in the world, or whatever's around us, or what's in us. What does God have to say? And it is the promise of God. And it is a key part of the gospel that when you surrender your heart to Jesus and you let the Spirit of God come in you, you have the capacity to hear and obey God, to hear his voice and obey him. That's the promise of God. And so I don't want to go through my life basing my decisions, basing what I do or don't do on what I think. I don't want to put that trust in my own knowledge and understanding, but rather in him who knows everything. God Almighty, the creator of heaven and earth, of the universe, and my creator, the one who created me, the one who created you, is the one that you need to seek and inquire of and see what he has to say about everything in your life. Because in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, it says, for the God of this world, and there is a God of this world, it's the devil. The God of this world has blinded the unbelievers. There's a blindness on me. There's a blindness on you when we don't seek God, when we don't believe in Jesus. And believing means putting our trust in him, inquiring of him and seeking him. I mean, I grew up knowing about Jesus and hearing about him, that he went to the cross and all of that. So I believe that. I didn't dismiss it and say it wasn't true. But I understand now a believer is someone that takes themselves out of their own keeping and entrusts their life into to God himself, into Jesus. And then in everything that they do, inquiring of God and asking God and waiting on his voice coming. I mean, that's such a key for all of us. And we'll talk about that verse in a few minutes in John 5:30. For the godless world has blinded the unbelievers, their minds, that they should not discern the truth. I mean, you can't know what truth is in a situation, preventing them from seeing the illuminating light of the gospel of the glory of Christ, the Messiah, who is the image and likeness of God. I mean, it keeps you from knowing truth when you don't believe in Jesus and you don't inquire of him and seek him. And the verse in John 7, it reminds me of, if any man, this is such a key verse for me throughout my life, if any man desires to do his will, that's God's will, God's pleasure, it says, he will have the needed illumination to recognize and can tell for himself whether the teaching is from God or whether I am speaking from myself and of my own accord and on my own authority. I mean, this is such a key. If there's any place in your heart that you want the will of God, which makes it so important to cry out for the will of God for your life. Not my will, but your will. But if there's any place in your heart crying out for the will of God, then as all these different voices and opinions and things being said throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the season, throughout the pandemic, throughout the shutdowns, throughout anything, you'll know in your heart what is of God and what is not of God. He promises you and me that we will have the needed illumination. That means the voice of God comes to you. The voice of God comes to you to know that's not God. I'm not doing that. Or this is God. I'm going with this. I'm going this direction because that illumination, the voice of God comes to you to know and to recognize whether something's of God or not. And it's very clear that throughout the scriptures that unlimited seduction in the last days, in the latter times, is prevalent in the sway of our current age. So so I refer to this John 5:30. So just such a powerful verse. In John 5:30, this is Jesus speaking, and he said, "I am able to do nothing from myself." This is Jesus speaking, independently of my own accord. I mean, you talk about our culture, our American way, or even throughout the world, everything people do independently of themselves on their own accord. I got a mind, I can use it, I can make a decision. I mean, I'm smart, I understand, I can see. And all of that worldly human way is contrary to the way Jesus lived. And Jesus is the way. He's the truth, and he's the way. And he taught you and me how to live as a man in this world. And he said, I'm able to do nothing for myself independently of my own accord, but only as I am taught by God. I mean, cry out to God to be teachable. I cry out all the time, God, make me teachable, make me correctable. I don't want to be controlled by my own opinion and by my own will, but by your will, your command, your voice. And this is how Jesus lives, a man surrendered to God. But only as I am taught by God and as I get his orders. Even as I hear, I judge, I decide as I'm bidden to decide. So he didn't go by his own opinion. He waited for the voice of God to come. As the voice comes to me, so I give a decision. What voice is he talking about? What he thought about it? No, what the Father said. This is it, Jesus. This is it, Son. This is my voice. And my judgment is right. So is he being dogmatic? No. His judgment is right. It's just. It's righteous. Because I do not seek or consult my own will. I have no desire to do what is pleasing to myself. I'm not there yet. But I'm crying out that I would not desire to do anything that's pleasing to myself. My own aim. My own purpose. But only the will and pleasure of the Father who sent me. This is the work of the Spirit of God that you and I need in our hearts. That we cry out, not my will, but your will, God. Not my will, but your will. Because in that, there's something that begins to switch in your heart. That you don't go with your own opinion. You don't go with the sway. You don't go with the blindness. You wait for God's voice to come. You wait for Jesus to speak to your heart. You wait on that voice. You don't make a decision apart from that. And then you can walk through anything. And this is the gospel. It is the promise of God. This is what was taken away from mankind when Adam sinned in the garden, and that separation from God took place. And this is what was restored when Jesus went to the cross and paid the penalty for our sin and broke the veil that separated us from the presence of God. This is what happened. And this is what we want to put our trust in and believe in and receive and be humble and say, I want that Jesus. I don't want to live my life for myself. In Romans, it talks about this. It talks about Adam's disobedience and Jesus' obedience. In Romans 5, verse 19, it says, for just as one man's disobedience, failing to hear, heedless and careless, there's those words again. That's what Adam did. The many were constituted sinners. That's you and me. All mankind under the power of sin. So by one man's obedience, that's Jesus, the many will be constituted righteous, made acceptable to God, brought into right standing with him, God. That is the work of the cross. That is the gospel for you and me and for our generation. That although that sin separates us from God, what Jesus did broke the power of that and restored that relationship of hearing, heeding, and not being rebellious to God, but obeying God. That's what we want. We want that in our lives. It says in Hebrews chapter 7, in Hebrews chapter 5, verse 7, in the days of his flesh, Jesus offered up definite special petitions for that which he not only wanted but needed, and supplications with strong crying and tears to him who was always able to save him out from death. And he was heard because of his reverence towards God, his godly fear, his piety, in that he shrank from the horrors of separation from the bright presence of the Father. Although he was a son, he learned active special obedience through what he suffered. So that being tempted and tested of the devil was what he was suffering to not do the will of the Father. But he cried out strong with weepings and tears and just cries unto God, Father, help me to do your will. Not my will, but your will. This is how Jesus lived. And if he lived that way, how much more so should you and I live this way? It's okay to pray strong. And it's good to pray with all your heart. It's good to weep and cry out to God with everything in you. And no matter what they say, don't ever stop doing it. Don't ever stop crying out with all your heart. They might try to stop you. They might want to mock you. They might want to shut you down. But God Almighty showed us in that verse, this is the way to live. And we're going to live that way. Don't you think? Don't you think that we need to live the way Jesus lived? Wouldn't that be better than to live like some famous person in Hollywood? I'd rather live like Jesus. I'm not going to stand before these famous people one day, but I will stand before God one day and have to give an account for how I live my life. In Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5, it says, lean on, trust in, and be confident in the Lord with all your heart and mind, and do not rely on your own insight and understanding. And I mean, you want to talk about how everybody lives in this day and hour. Everybody leans in and has an opinion of their own and leans into their own understanding. Well, I just don't think. Well, I think you should do this. Well, I don't think that's right. But you know, with all those voices and all those opinions and all those different understandings, there's one that knows everything. And that's God Almighty. And that's who we need to lean into and put our confidence in and inquire of. In verse 6, it says, in all your ways, know, recognize, and acknowledge him. And if you do that, this is what happens. And he will direct and make straight and plain your paths. What's better? You making decisions about your life and making a mess and doing things that you regret in the end? or being led and controlled by God Almighty and Him directing your path, then it goes straight and plain and leads right to right living with God and no shame when you stand before Him. Which one do you choose? I choose with all my heart. I want to live that way, Jesus. I want to live that way. I don't want to lean into my own understanding, but in all my ways, I want to know, recognize, and acknowledge Him. Jesus, what do you say? What do you say, Jesus? I want to know what you say about it, Jesus. And wait for that voice of God and believe that when you seek God, He will answer you. I mean, it's the promise of God. You know, it says in Psalms chapter 123, it says, "Unto you do I lift my eyes, O you who are enthroned in heaven." I mean, God still sits on His throne, the master and creator of all the heaven and earth. He is sitting there now. "Behold, as the eyes of a servant look to the hand of their master, and as the eyes of a maid to the hand of her mistress, so our eyes look to the Lord our God." Don't you ever forget this. So our eyes look to the Lord our God until He has mercy and loving kindness for us. Don't you stop believing in God. Don't you stop taking your eyes off of Jesus and saying, "Jesus, I know you will help me. I know you will save me. I know you will help me to make it to the end. I know you'll walk me through this. I know you'll open the door for me that seems it will never open, that's shut tight. I know that you'll open that door for me so I can do your will and be saved, Jesus." And He says, "Have mercy on us, O Lord. Have mercy on and loving kindness for us." That's going to be the cry of our heart. That's going to be the cry of our heart. And so, in going back to the sway of this age, I've been thinking about these two verses. And, you know, when I was young, I heard all about the book of Revelations and read the book of Revelations. And you can take two paths with that book, and you can get really in your head, very cranial, and try to figure it all out. Because it says this calls, and there's verses in there, this calls for discernment and understanding, a great amount of it. And you know, you can start studying all the different things. But if I'm seeking God, the Spirit of God will begin to show me and reveal, you know, everything about what God's warning us and saying to us in the book of Revelations, because it refers to the latter days. And one thing that I lock in my heart is one of the final verses in the book of Revelations. It says, "Nothing that defiles, that is unclean, that is repugnant will ever enter into the kingdom of heaven." And so we want to be ready. We want to be ready for when Jesus comes, and we want to be ready for that day. Because if there's anything in me or if there's anything in you that defiles, it will not be allowed in the kingdom of heaven. And that will be a very sad day when we had every opportunity to get our hearts right throughout our life. Many opportunities, many messengers sent to our life, many freedoms offered to us, especially in our country, to seek God and to not be hindered. And we neglected that. It'll be a sad day when we say, "Oh, I wish I did. Oh, I should have." And we didn't. But we have today. And we're going to seek God with all our heart. And so I kept thinking recently about these scriptures. And it says in Revelations 17, it's in verse 12, it says, "Also the 10 horns that you observed are 10 rulers, kings, who have as yet received no royal dominion." So he's talking about governments that are to come. "But together they are to receive power and authority as rulers for a single hour, along with the beast." And it says in the next verse, "These rulers at this 1 hour in time have one common policy, one opinion, one purpose. And they deliver their power and their authority to the beast." And I've thought many times about this verse lately. Because in verse 13 of Revelations, verse 3, it says, "The whole earth went after the beast in amazement and admiration." And so we know through the scriptures about this Antichrist, this false savior of the world will rise at the last days, and that the whole world's going after him. The whole world. And they're going to be amazed by him, and they're going to admire him. And even these governments, they're going to give up they're going to be of one opinion, one authority, one common policy. And they're going to give their authority to this beast, to this Antichrist, to this world ruler. And the whole world's going to go after this. And you see some of the workings of that in this day and hour. And just how the world is dealing with the pandemic and certain things that they don't bear witness, that illumination in seeking the will of God. There's a wait a minute, that doesn't feel like God. And that's where we have got to seek God like never before. Not my will, but your will. And let that begin to work in our hearts, because if we are in the latter days, and this one world government is being established before our very eyes, and you hear it all the time, a new world order, the Great Reset, and all these different governments coming together, joining together, and giving their authority to entities so they can make decisions for the whole world. Don't you think that things are being established? There's a sway in this world today that we need to be aware of. And all the while, we still have our freedoms and our liberties to seek God like never before, to not forsake gathering together with other believers and crying out to God together. Make our hearts ready, Jesus. Cause us to know you like never before. Show us what your will is. You can have a 4 or 5 people together, and if each person gives their opinion, you can have 4 or 5 completely different directions you can go. And well, that seems right. Well, that makes sense. Oh, that does too. Maybe that's it. And you got all that going on in our day and hour, and we need to know what Jesus says about it. And we need to seek God like we've never sought him before. And we don't need to be under the sway and the tendency of this current age. And we don't need to be blinded by the God of this world. We need to hear God. And today, you need to seek God with everything in you. And you need to tell him, not my will, but your will. I want you to illuminate me. I want to have that needed illumination that you promise to those that desire to do the will of God, so that I can know whether I need to take the mark of the beast or not. I mean, obviously we don't want to do that, because it says if you take that mark that Antichrist requires everybody to take to buy or sell, that mark will automatically mean you are sentenced to hell. No one with that mark on them will be allowed in heaven. So this should be ever before me. It's been before me for 35 years since I first began to know about these things. And I want my heart to be ready. And my eyes are on Jesus, and I'm trusting him that he's going to keep me to the end as I seek him and as I inquire of him with all my heart. So let's do that today. Let that be the cry of your heart today. It doesn't matter what you face. I know that people listen in and listen to our programs all over the world, and your country might have different mandates than ours. There's a lot going on. As my dear friend Gilbert Carmona says all the time, there's a lot going on, Mark. There is. But we're going to keep our hearts open to Jesus. We're going to inquire of him. We're going to keep our eyes on him. We're going to seek him with all our heart. And God's keeping power will be on our lives. I'm so grateful you could listen in this morning. I hope this helped you and blessed you. All our programs are recorded and on our website, www.wordoffaithfellowship.org, and we encourage you to listen to all our programs. You have a great day.
WCAB. That could mean
this has far-reaching consequences. The most immediate are furloughs of government employees and the ripple effects those have. For example, the Social Security Administration, they have authority to keep mailing checks, but benefit verification, Social Security claims, card issuance, that would all stop.
The Department of Health and Human Services would furlough nearly half its staff, but the government's pandemic response would continue. National parks and monuments would all also close as they have during previous government shutdowns. Solutions. All this happening as a House vote on infrastructure was to have been taken this week. ABC congressional correspondent Rachel